doctors from Abbey Research. I'm Dr. Hinson.
I'm Dr. Donnelly.
Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Happy Patties!
We are here I'm wearing green. It's St. Patrick's Day in America, and all around the world.
I was about to say, we don't have different St. Patrick's Days.
You're getting two very, very pale versions of the good doctors.
We don't understand what's happening. We have the melanin of Casper currently. We don't know why.
We are the ghosts of the good doctors.
Of St. Patrick's Day past.
Coming to you to talk to you about St. Patrick's Day. No, really, we're just sitting across from a window, and it's actually sunny in Pittsburgh. So, go figure. We can't get the lighting to do...
to make us look like we have any melanin whatsoever. So.
Like we have any skin tone. So we're very pale.
We promise we're not ill.
We're fine. We're both fine. But we wanted to take just a few minutes on this auspicious holiday, the holiday for the patron saint of Ireland, and have a little talk about how we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. And how we can do so from a place of cultural respect and authenticity. Because as people who work and consult on culture all around the world, we very much believe in understanding the cultures we are representing and celebrating them and honoring them respectfully. So that being said, couple of things.
The first thing to know is that the St. Patrick's Day in America and St. Patrick's Day in Ireland are celebrated very, very differently.
Very differently.
So, and like St. Patrick's Day everywhere but Ireland, essentially. It's like Canada, like...
There's a parade in Dublin now.
It's really for American tourists.
And it's mostly comprised of Americans.
Yeah.
In the actual St. Patrick's Day parade. They bring over loads of American bands and American, like, marching bands to make up this holiday.
Yeah.
So it is celebrated. If you went to St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, it would look a lot like some St. Patrick's Day in the States. But overall, in the island, very, very different.
There may be parade. Oh, well, because in
that the case?
Ireland, it's a family holiday. It's a national holiday.
It's a religious holiday.
It's a religious holiday. Patrick is, in fact, the saint. So, like, for instance, when I was living over there and associated with the Church of Ireland, there is a pilgrimage and high service in Downpatrick, which is the traditional burial place of St. Patrick. That is an incredibly religious service. And it's actually, of all the St. Patrick's Days I've ever celebrated, that was my very favorite one, because I got to hear this incredible discussion about how Patrick was the example of the best of Ireland. He was an outsider who was brought in, accepted, loved, changed the culture, and became everything that was great about Ireland. That St. Patrick's Day is a celebration of welcome, which is at the core of who Ireland wants to be. So if you think about that, and then which is something that you hear lots and lots of Irish people talk about, the importance of welcome and things like that.
A lot of things that you can buy, you will see the Irish phrase, Céad Míle Fáilte, or 1,000 welcomes, 1,000 hellos. So you see it a lot in America, but it doesn't translate quite the same way.
Right. And this whole idea of, and we talk about cultural values sometimes, like the cultural value of America is productivity, and the cultural value of Ireland in a lot of ways. Ireland, both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, is welcome. And family and being and all those kind of things. So you'll see parades in Ireland for sure. I went to one in Galway once that was largely made up of like what Americans would understand as the local 4-H club. Like people were parading their donkeys.
I used to take my students to the one in Belfast, which for a lot of reasons in Northern Ireland, there weren't St. Patrick's Day parades at all that were allowed to march through the city centre until 1997 was the first time there was a St. Patrick's Day parade in the city centre in Belfast. And it lasts about 15 minutes. It's made up of a lot of different cultural representations of Ireland, but in Northern Ireland, it's ones that aren't going to offend either the Protestant or Catholic population. So it tends to be a lot more neutralized. You're not allowed to have, at the Belfast St. Patrick's Day parade, you're not allowed to have the Irish tricolour, the green, white, and orange flag, because it is legally the flag of the Republic of Ireland. It's used a lot symbolically on St. Patrick's Day. It's not actually the flag of St. Patrick, but it's a very contentious symbol in Northern Ireland, so you're not allowed to have it. They have their own green flag with a white shamrock on it that represents St. Patrick's Day. So it's a very complicated issue on the island.
So along with the fact that it's not gonna look like New York.
Yeah.
A couple things. One, you're never gonna find green beer anywhere on the island of Ireland.
It's not a thing.
Not a thing. It was created to sell beer to Americans.
As a marketing campaign.
Yeah, just
100%.
just like Santa Claus and Coca-Cola with the red suit.
We lived there for 5 years. Never in my life saw a pint of green beer.
Secondly, you're not going to be served corned beef and cabbage.
Nope.
Because that is an Irish immigrant food, not an Irish native food. The traditional meal on St. Patrick's Day in most of Ireland involves some sort of seafood, chowder, oysters, and then a good loaf of bread, and then Guinness.
I was about to say, like, Guinness is everywhere now. Just have a pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
On the subject of drinks, we would like to ask you, as we tell everyone we know, to please never, ever in your life, ever order an Irish car bomb.
Ever.
We understand it's a very popular drink.
It's tasty.
In America. It is entirely an American invention because car bombs in Ireland are bombs that explode cars.
And they kill people.
And I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean that literally.
Yeah.
Car bombs were used throughout the conflict in Northern Ireland as a means to kill, hurt, maim, and terrorize the population of Northern Ireland. Hundreds of people have been killed and injured from resulting car bombs. It's mostly a thing of the past, though there have been several in the more recent years. One killed a prison officer 4 years ago, and there was one that just took place in Derry, London Derry, depending on who you ask, in January of this year. So they still happen. And it was, if you watch the CCTV footage, there was a group of young people, like 18-year-old kids, about 6 of them, that walked past the car minutes before it exploded. So there could have been severe casualties with that particular incident, only for a different time.
My husband, whose hometown was in fact impacted by a very large and very infamous car bomb.
The largest car bomb.
Refers to this drink as, he says, the American equivalent would either be the Twin Towers or he would call it Columbine.
Yeah, I mean.
So think about that.
The people that built car bombs in Northern Ireland, it was the modern improvised IED. Like, they were the precursors of it. And literally, that's where people in using IEDs now, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, they got that recipe from the people in Northern Ireland and the groups in Ireland that used it. So
what a legacy.
You wouldn't order a drink called an IED. You wouldn't order a drink called the Twin Towers or Columbine or Sandy Hook or something like.
You wouldn't.
It's just culturally insensitive.
Yeah.
There are so many wonderful Irish drinks you can have.
Yeah.
There's gin, there's whiskey, there's loads of different kinds
Baileys.
of beer. If you want a baby Guinness shot, that culturally offends
Zero
one,
people,
except it might offend the lining of your stomach.
It's very sweet.
But other than that, like, pick a different drink.
So if you go to an Irish pub and they are serving that beverage, please turn around and walk out, for they are not an Irish pub. Nor, I'll be bold enough to say, do they deserve your business?
Yeah.
So it may sound very silly to you guys, and we respect that. This may be a thing that you think we're splitting hairs on.
Yeah.
We're not.
No.
We're not.
So with that in mind, we want you to enjoy
We want you to enjoy, by the way, a Patty's Day, P-A-D-D-Y.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot the last bit.
It is not Patty's, P-A-T-T-Y.
Or Pat.
Or
P-A-T.
Pats.
And this is because the Irish name Porrig is the original name Patrick. So Patrick is the anglicized version of
the Englishized,
made in English version of Patrick's name, which is P-A-D-R-A-I-G, which is pronounced Porrig, but looks like, if you were just going to read it phonetically, Padrig with a D. So that's what you will see St. Paddy's Day with D's or Paddy's Day. But to refer to it as St. Pat's with a T or St. Patty's with 2 T's is just culturally wrong. It's incorrect.
Patty, P-A-D-D-Y, came on a boat. P-A-T-T-Y comes on a bun.
And Patty in Ireland, Pat and Patty a lot of times is a derivative of Patricia, which is not the patron saint of Ireland. And there is a St. Patricia Day, but it's not Irish, and it's not on the 17th of March.
Yeah. So just a couple quick things.
we want everyone to enjoy St. Patrick's Day festivities.
And the richness of the holiday therein.
Yeah.
It is a family day. It's
Mm-hmm.
a great day to pause and think about welcome and how you practice welcome in your life and in your practice of whatever faith you have, whether it be in the universe or in yourself or in a higher power. Think about how you practice welcome. It's an incredibly wonderful day. It should not ever be drenched in green beer or green vomit.
And on that note, we're the Good Doctors for Happy Research. We wish you a very happy St. Patrick's Day wherever you are in the world, and we ask you to take our points into consideration as you enjoy the rest of the holiday and continue to celebrate it throughout your life.
Thanks for your time.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.